Welcome everyone. This is the Masterclass. My name is Patricknazareth. I have around 30 years of teaching experience. I hope to be able to dispel your doubts should you have any. Today we look at the story Eveline, written by James Joyce. James Joyce was born on February the 2nd, 1882 at Dublin in Ireland. He died on January the 31st, 1941 at Zurich. He is noted for his experimental use of language and exploration of new literary methods. Like, for example, he pioneered the stream of consciousness writing, which basically means you know exactly what the character is thinking. His two most important novels are Ulysses, written in 1922, and Finnegan's Wake. This particular chapter is taken from his first book, Dubliners. Let us suppose you are faced with a decision where you must leave everything that you know your whole life behind and step into a new one where everything will be strange and unknown. This is basically the story of Eveline. The chapter opens with Eveline sitting at the window. She is tired. She has just finished dusting the house. She sits at the window looking out. A man passes by. He is the person who lives at the end of a long row of houses. As she hears his footsteps on the walk, she remembers the time when those row of houses never used to be there. Instead, there was a large field in which she and the other children of her age used to play. Kyo used to be there. He was a young boy who was handicapped and he couldn't run, so he used to keep watch for Eveline's dad, because if he came looking for them in the field, he normally came with a black thorn stick which he would use to hit them. She thinks about the changes that have happened since that time. Not only have houses been built, but people have died. Her mother has died, her friend has died, someone has moved away. And she looks back inside her house and it's very familiar. There are the same objects which she has been dusting all the time. For example, there is a photo of a priest. She does not even know his name. All she knows is that he is her father's friend. Whenever somebody comes to their house, when they inquire over the picture, the father tells them, he was my friend and is now in Melbourne, Australia. She is a person who is very much used to hard work. She works hard in the house, sweeping, dusting, cleaning, cooking. And she works hard at the department store where she is employed, known simply as the stores. Her supervisor is a lady, Miss Gavin, who is very strict with her. Perhaps she doesn't like her that much. As she looks at her present, she looks back into her past. She thinks about the future. She is planning on running away with a sailor. Why has that thought come into her mind? Because inside her there's a growing fear of her father. The father has never been violent to her. He has never touched her. But she feels that a time is coming when he might. She knows he used to beat her brothers unmercifully. He has never touched her, but the fear that he might remains. One boy, Ernest, is dead, and the other, Harry, his job takes him traveling all over. There is a constant struggle over money in the household. Whatever money she earns in the stores, she gives to her father. Harry also sends him money, but the old man refuses to give her money to run the household whenever she asks for it. So invariably, every Saturday, there is an argument over money. And finally, after a lot of bitterness, he gives her the money and she goes to buy Sunday dinner and whatever provisions the house might require. She has to feed, clothe two young children. We are not told who they are. Perhaps they are her younger siblings. Perhaps they are children of one of her brothers. We have no idea. Her love interest, her lover, is a person named Frank. He is a sailor, full of exciting tales, full of exciting stories. Because he has been at sea from the time he was a small boy. He started off as a deckhand. He has been all around the world. As compared to Eveline, who has stayed only in her house. His stories arouse a desire in her also to see the world. Frank tells her the names of all the ships that he has sailed on, the places that he has been to, the people that he has seen. She is stimulated and excited by the stories of his adventures. She remembers the time they first met. She remembers how he took her to see a play called The Bohemian Girl. She remembers the excitement she felt when everybody told her she was being quoted by someone. It felt nice to hear. Unfortunately, the father did not like Frank. and he warned her to stay away from him. Then one day, he and Frank had a quarrel. The net result was that the father told her, "You cannot see this man anymore." So she has decided to run away. But she remembers. She remembers things about her father. Like, for example, when she was sick, how her father looked after her, made her toast, read her a ghost story, tried to make her as comfortable as possible. She remembers her promise to her mother when she was dying. Her mother used to say this phrase over and over again, Deveron Sevon, which could be translated as the end of pleasure is pain. So she is wondering, is that applicable to her? If she does something that is good for her, will it end in heartbreak? She suddenly realizes that it is time for her to go, otherwise it will be too late, because Frank is waiting for her. They have booked a passage to Buenos Aires in Argentina. She rushes off to the harbor. Frank is happy to see her. He grips her hand. She can see the ship waiting. She can see the gangway. But something stops her. Frank doesn't realize that she is hesitant. He pulls at her and he crosses the barrier, leaving her behind. Then he suddenly realizes she's left behind. And he turns and he implores her, "Come." But she is rooted to the spot. She does not know what to do. She hesitates. Her escape is there in front of her, an escape from the life that is full of hard work, an escape from a life that she perhaps does not even look forward to anymore. The father who she thinks will be abusive, the children whom she has to look after, the weekly fight over money. She sees a future in front of her, a future as a respectable married wife, but she cannot move. She is rooted to the spot. Frank cannot leave the boat. She is unwilling to go onto the boat. All emotion drops away from her. She looks at him, who is repeatedly asking her to come, come, come. And there is no emotion on her face. She has made her decision. Who are the characters of the story? Eveline Hill. She is around 19 years old. She is torn between her duty and her desire. Her lover Frank, he is a sailor who has travelled widely. Eveline's father, he is abusive and controlling. He threatens Eveline with violence. We have Eveline's mother, who appears only as a deceased person. You have some minor characters like Miss Gavin, who is Eveline's supervisor. Harry and Ernest. Harry is alive and is travelling for his business. Ernest has died. And two young children who we do not even know the names of. The setting is in Dublin, likely around the 1900s. We are basically taken to three places. The first is Eveline's home, which is a small house in a small neighborhood. The stores where she works, where we do not go physically, but we are taken there in Eveline's mind. And of course, the harbor, where she goes to escape, but ultimately stays back. What are the literary devices used by the author then? Like we said in the introduction to the author, a new way of writing called the stream of consciousness, where the story goes through Eveline as she thinks about what has happened. It does not follow any linear order. There is an interior monologue. Eveline is talking to herself, and we are able to understand what she is going through based on what she is thinking about. We look at the symbols. For example, dust representing the stagnation in her life, the sea, escape as well as danger. There is a lot of rich imagery, like the black mass of the boat, sensory details, things which she can see or smell, like the odor of dusty cretonne. There is paralysis, how Eveline is paralyzed emotionally and psychologically. There is an epiphany. An epiphany is a moment of realization when at the docks, Eveline refuses to go forward with her plan. There is repetition, like Deveron, Seron, and Frank repeatedly saying "come," arousing emotional intensity. A contrast, the commonness of Eveline's small house and the new beginning that Frank represents. What are the themes that run through this particular story then? An inability to escape. Why? Because she is trapped by what society expects of her, by what her family expects of her, and her own fears. Her duty versus her desire. Eveline has certain responsibilities. Does she not have a responsibility to love and be loved also? That is the conflict. How the past impacts the present. Eveline's promise to her mother to look after the family. Her memories of her childhood. They prevent her from going forward. The importance of family bonds. No family always has positive vibes. There are always negative as well as positive emotions. But both these positive and negative emotions influence Evelyn's decisions. Gender roles. Evelyn is a woman. At the turn of the century in the 1900s, she actually has no options, with there are very few avenues open to women. Mainly, she is expected to be a good caretaker, a good homemaker. The fear of the unknown. Like all of us, we are afraid to get out of our comfort zone. We are afraid to let go of the place where we are most comfortable and step out into the world. That's the chapter then for you. I do hope I have been able to help. If I have, please remember to like, subscribe and share. There may be others out there who would require our help. Thank you for watching.